Hi, today I'm going to review one of the best movies I have watched so far, The Truman Show. So let's get into it. What if your entire life was a lie? What if everyone you have ever known was an actor? You were the only real person inside a massive TV set. This is The Truman Show, the story of a man who wakes up to find out that his world is not what it seems. Truman Burbank wakes up like he does every day, cheerful, polite, and full of routine. He looks in the mirror and says, "Good morning," and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. He kisses his wife Meryl and heads off to work in the perfectly clean, calm town of Sea Haven. The neighbors greet him with wide smiles. Everything seems too perfect. But then something odd happens. And as he steps out, a large metallic object crashes from the sky onto the street near him. It's labeled as a stage light. Truman is confused. Where could that have come from? Later, on his drive to work, his car radio randomly picks up a transmission of people describing his exact movements in real time. They are saying things like, "He's turning left onto Lancaster." Truman freezes. Something isn't right. But the weirdness doesn't stop. One day, he sees a homeless man who looks exactly like his father, the father who supposedly died in a boating accident when Truman was a kid. The man is suddenly grabbed by strangers and pulled into a bus before Truman can speak to him. Nobody else reacts, nobody questions it. Truman starts watching people more closely. He sees the same pedestrians walking in loops, the same cars passing by again and again. And then his memories take him back to a woman he once met in college, Sylvia. She was different from everyone else, nervous, honest, real. They were never supposed to talk, but she warned him, everything around you is fake, everyone is pretending. Before she could explain more, she was pulled away by people claiming to be her father and sent off to Fiji. Sylvia becomes Truman's obsession. He hides clippings of her face, builds collages, and dreams of escaping Sea Haven to find her. Truman's obsession with leaving grows stronger. He talks about traveling to Fiji, hoping to find Sylvia again. But every time he tries to leave Sea Haven, the world seems to push back. He goes to buy a bus ticket, but the bus conveniently breaks down right before departure. He tries to rent a car, but something always blocks the way. He even attempts to drive out of town, but Meryl, his wife, starts panicking. On the highway, Truman suddenly swerves and drives toward a restricted bridge, one that's supposed to be dangerous. Meryl screams and begs him to stop. Truman pushes forward. And when they make it through the checkpoint safely, Truman knows something's off. He keeps testing people. One day he spins around suddenly in a circle, just to see what happens. The people on the street, they all stop and turn at once, like background actors missing a cue. Truman stares, heart racing. It's all fake. At home, Meryl begins to crack under pressure. She randomly advertises cocoa in the middle of an argument. Truman grabs her arm in desperation and demands the truth. She snaps, do something, somebody help me." That's when Truman realizes she's not his wife, she's an actress. Suddenly, his best friend, Marlon, arrives with beer, trying to calm him down. They sit by the water and Marlon says something heartbreaking. "You are the closest thing I have ever had to a brother, Truman. If everyone's in on it, then I'd have to be in on it too. And I'm not." But what Truman doesn't know is Marlon is wearing an earpiece. He's being fed lines from a control room. Watching it all is Christoph, the creator of the show, watching Truman from a massive dome control center. He's been orchestrating Truman's life since birth. Every friend, every neighbor, every job. It's all been part of a TV show aired 24/7 to the world. But now, Truman is slipping through their fingers. Truman pretends to sleep. He sets up a dummy in bed, sneaks out of his home and disappears. The control room goes into chaos. They search every camera feed in the dome, but Truman is gone. For the first time, the show is losing control. Finally, they find him. He's out at sea in a small boat, sailing toward the horizon. But Truman has a deep fear of water. They gave him that fear on purpose, after traumatizing him with his father's staged drowning. Yet there he is, sailing away. Christoph sends a massive storm. Waves crash. Truman nearly drowns, but he doesn't stop. He shouts into the sky, "Is that the best you can do?" The storm ends, the sea calms, and then his boat suddenly hits something. It's the wall of the dome, painted like the sky, the edge of his world. In front of him appears a staircase and a black door. A voice from above speaks, "Truman, I'm the creator of a television show that gives hope, joy, and inspiration to millions." Christoph tries to convince Truman to stay. He tells him the world out there is full of lies, pain, and uncertainty. "Here you are safe," he says. Truman stands silently, then smiles. He turns to the camera and says, "In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night." He bows and walks through the door. The world watches, stunned. Truman Burbank is finally free. If we truly analyze this movie, then we can say that the dome was a metaphor for society. Truman lives inside a perfect bubble, a town where everything is controlled, predictable, and safe. But that dome isn't just a physical structure. It represents systems that tell us who we are before we have had a chance to find out for ourselves. Most people live their whole lives inside that dome and never even realize it. Christoph being the media, the creator, the God complex. Christoph claims he loves Truman, that he gave him a better life than the real world ever could. But is it really love if it's without freedom? Christoph is a symbol of media manipulation, controlling how we see the world, deciding what we believe, and broadcasting fake realities to the public. He even speaks to Truman from the sky like a god, but Truman doesn't bow, he walks away. That's a powerful moment about self-ownership and breaking free from control. Another theme is fear as a weapon. Why didn't Truman leave sooner? Because they conditioned him to fear water, just like we are conditioned to fear leaving our comfort zones. Fear keeps people obedient. Fear keeps people small. But once Truman crosses that ocean, literally and symbolically, he proves that freedom is always on the other side of the fear. Lastly, Truman is all of us. Truman isn't just one man, he's all of us. Born into a script, surrounded by expectations, given a version of life that's been carefully edited for our consumption. And at some point, like Truman, we start asking, is this it? That's what makes the ending so powerful. Truman doesn't walk out to a guaranteed future, he walks out to uncertainty. But it's his choice, and that choice makes him truly free. My final thoughts: The Truman Show isn't just about a man on TV. It's about you, me, and everyone who's ever wondered if they are really living life they chose, or just playing the role they were given. And maybe that's the real awakening. Thank you so much for tolerating me. I'll see you in the next video.